So now let's go ahead and talk about the masking animation technique, or let's first understand what is masking rather. So now masking is anything that covers a particular area, right? And one concept to understand here is that so for example, if I just uh, take this image for example, and I go ahead and add a new layer on top of it, all right, and let's say if I just go ahead and draw a circle here, right there, something like that. I don't need the stroke, so I'll just get rid of that and move it, probably change its size a little bit. Okay, so now we need to understand one thing here, that this area that we have covered under this circle is going to show through when I'm going to apply a mask, right? It's like one of those party masks that we wear in birthday parties, and the paper masks that we put on our faces, and it's through the holes in front of the eyes that we can see, and the rest of the part is hidden. Okay, so this is functioning pretty much similar to that. Okay, so right now this is that hole, although it doesn't look like a hole, but just be with me for some time, just visualize it that it is a hole. And as soon as I come here on top and I right click and I say mask, what would happen is instantly only the area that was covered under that circle starts showing through, and the rest of the area gets hidden, right? And you might ask that okay, but what about this part? This is not hidden. Well, that's because if you see here carefully, only the image layer is inset below the mask layer. All right, so if I go ahead and drag this text layer also below this and then lock it out, that's important, because as you might notice that two things have happened as soon as I clicked on the mask. One is that it turned to a camera icon, right? This icon, or it's not a camera icon actually, it's one of those layers with a hole, right? And the second thing that happened was it has locked it. Another thing that has happened is that the layer got inserted. Okay, so these are the three conditions to tell you that a particular layer is being masked out. Okay, so that's the basic function of a mask. All right, now if we had to animate the mask, we could do it very easily, and the way we would do it is that we would just go ahead and just drag and select few frames like that, right click and say insert frame, which is F5. Okay, so all we need to do is we need to just animate the mask and not anything else. Okay, so I'm just going to temporarily release this lock, and I'm going to basically create a copy of this keyframe, F6, or you could alt drag also, and then change its position, or maybe let's just not change the position, let's just scale it out, right, to reveal everything that is there. That should be a nice concept. So this is the final frame, and this should be the initial frame. Let's just zoom into it and make sure that it's very, very small. We are going subatomic at this point. Okay, so once that's done, I have this and then I have this. All right, so two different scales of the same object. Now it's a good idea to drag the logo layer also beneath the mask layer and then add F5 or add some frames to this also. So right now what's happening is that these frames are only showing through till the 10-second frame duration. However, this is changing over time. Okay, so if I just right click and say create shape tween, what this is going to do is this is going to interpolate or basically create frames in between the two keyframes right here. All right, something that we were doing initially in the last session, I kind of drew it in, but this is one way to do it also. So what we have is a uh, basically a shape tween happening here. Did I do something wrong? I don't think so. Then what's the problem? Let me just check and come back. Okay, so I kind of figured out what was the problem. Actually, on the first keyframe, the shape had got distorted somehow, and that is why it was not taking up the interpolation. So I had to go back and redraw it. Now I'm just going to use uh, manual scaling, or what you can also do is you can just simply alt and hold down the alt, the control and the S key, or it would be alt and command excuse me, or it would be the alt and command S on a Mac, and I'm sorry, or it would be the option command S on a Mac. Okay, so I can keep reducing it to 10% and so on and so forth. Okay, and did I go way too small? I think yes. Okay, so this is the animation that I'm getting now as a result, and this is how it's the shape tween is helping me out to create the in-between frames. All right, and now the magic starts to happen where I just lock this layer up and the mask layer. Okay, and this is where I start to see everything. Now there's some ordering that needs to be done. The text needs to come on top and that logo also needs to come on top. So I'll do that, and this is a simple animation that's taking place. All right, so quite simple, very basic. I'm just increasing the frames by using F5 and I'm making it a 1-second animation. And let's just control enter or command enter, command return on a Mac, and see what we are getting. Okay, so this is the kind of result that we are getting right now. Okay, so this is done, and the next step is to export out our animation, and we do that by going to file, export, and we come down here to export animated GIF or GIF. Some people like to call it GIF, some people call it GIF. Two approaches, never mind. Whatever it is called, let's leave that discussion out for now, and let's just select a few settings here in the preset options. I think most of them are just fine, let them be, and let's just say preview for a second and check in the browser how it's coming out to be. Alright, so this is the result that is going to come finally. Okay, so let's just say save, masking 01, GIF, whatever, gifted, and then we go into the location and find out what it's done. So that's the animation that we're getting. Pretty easy, right? Okay, so I hope you have had some fun doing this. Try this out on your own, and then let's see what you guys can come up with.